What is up there everyone, it's the guy with no gamertag here, and today I want to talk about possible features from Battlefield Hardline that could be carried over into Battlefield 1, and that I think would possibly make a good addition to the game. Now the first one has got to be the ability to take heals from a medic and be able to take ammo from a support player. This is a really useful feature because everyone has encountered that one support player who you can be screaming ammo, ammo, drop me ammo for about a year, and they still have no idea what's going on around them and they never drop it, and you just basically waste your time just trying to get ammo. And it's always a very frustrating experience because you just want them to drop an ammo crate. It takes literally no time and they still remain completely oblivious to the fact that that's all you want them to do, and they just seem to stare at you, and it's just completely ridiculous. I think it'd be a good feature for them to bring across, but if they didn't want to just bring it across exactly the same as it was in Hardline, maybe it could be that you have to request the ammo or the healing before you can actually take it if they don't give it to you. Because it could be a case that you maybe use your interactions where you say need ammo, need healing, and if you do that aimed at a player, you're looking at the player and you do that, and they don't drop the ammo or the health, then you can just take it for yourself, because in that case they aren't quite helping you, but you do need those resources. It could be quite an interesting feature, and I think it would be very good for them to bring it back. Another thing I would like to touch on is sort of field upgrades and that kind of aspect of the game. Now I personally preferred the specializations from Battlefield 3, but I do understand how field upgrades are to try and incentivize teamwork, because you can actually work as a squad to gain your own personal upgrades. However, I do feel that Hardline went a bit too far with them, not in that the actual upgrades were too extreme, it was just the fact that it felt like to get the 4th tier, you had to move heaven and earth to get that. I personally play Heist a lot, and I've never managed to get to Reputation Tier 4. It just seems impossible to do if you're not playing Conquest Large or a game mode of that kind of nature, or if you've got a hacker actually upgrading your squad. It seems almost impossible to get to Tier 4. In Battlefield 4 I've hit Tier 4 a lot of times. It's not particularly difficult, it just happens in some games and doesn't in others. But in Battlefield Hardline it seems absolutely impossible. I think it would be good if it was almost scaled on game modes. So in particular game modes you can earn it quicker if the game mode doesn't last as long per game. So for a game mode like Heist, the reputation upgrades wouldn't take as much to get because the game mode generally doesn't last very long. But it still can't be easy to get. You don't want it being where everyone gets Tier 4, because then you might as well just give those abilities out for free. But at the same time you don't want it being absolutely impossible in one game mode, especially if, like in Hardline, you've got assignments that actually require you to get to Tier 4. You don't want it to be completely impossible in certain game modes, because then it's going to be really frustrating for players that just want to get that reputation upgrade and they can't because the game mode basically stops them from doing that. One feature that I thought was pretty useful in Hardline was when you got XP boosts from a battle pack, you were able to actually sell them for the in-game currency, which you could then use to buy weapons, gadgets, camos, etc. And that was a really useful feature because it gets to the point when you've played the game a lot that you just end up with loads and loads of 25 XP boosts. I checked my boosts on Battlefield 4 yesterday. I have over 110 25 XP boosts, more than 60 50 XP boosts. And I'm never going to use them all because I don't want to use 25% boosts if I've got higher XP boosts already. One thing that I think would be good is because I don't think in Battlefield 1 they're going to use the currency system they used in Hardline. I don't think that would quite fit the game, and I personally prefer the progression system in Battlefield 4. But what they could do is that if you've got two 25 XP boosts, you could combine them to make a 50 XP boost for the same amount of time. Rather than having to individually go through and use all of these individual boosts, you could actually just combine them to make a bigger boost. However, you would have to limit this so people could not then make like 1000% XP boost. You wouldn't want that happening, but maybe say that the limit is 200% XP. You can add on all of these boosts. If you've got 725 XP boosts, you can combine them to get 175% boost. The limit is always going to be 200, you can never combine them to be more than 200%, and they will always last for the same duration as time as the original boost. So say every boost lasts for an hour, it means that you will not end up with all these boosts for like 3 hours, you have 200% for the same hour. And that is how it would work. I think that would be a good idea because it's a balance between the system in Hardline and Battlefield 4, because in Battlefield 4 you just end up with millions of boosts you can do absolutely nothing with, and in Hardline you've got an ability to actually trade them for the in-game currency, which you can then use for other things, and that is a very beneficial system, especially for people that have hit the max rank. Once you've hit max rank, the boosts mean nothing, you've just got these things accumulating and you can do nothing about them. And that was part of the problems with some of the battle packs, is you keep on getting boosts because you've run out of other items to get, but the boosts boosts are completely useless to you. Maybe it'll be a thing for Battlefield 1 where once you get into the higher ranks, rather than continually giving you boosts, they just give you much rarer cosmetic items. That could be a good way of actually rewarding the long-term players. But this is actually speculating that they actually bring back battle packs. I'm assuming they do, because in the early enlister editions of the game you seem to be getting battle packs which have cosmetic items in for that particular edition of the game. So I'm assuming they are going to bring back battle packs. But I think it'd be very useful if you could trade or combine boosts so you don't end up with millions and millions of boosts that you're never going to use because they just have no value to you. But these are just some of the features that I think would work really well from Battlefield Hardline and carried over into Battlefield 1. What do you all think? Do you think that these features would actually impact the game well, or do you think maybe they should just stay in Hardline, because Hardline, although it had Battlefield as a title, it didn't quite feel like a Battlefield game. I personally am really looking forward to Battlefield 1. A lot of people have made some really interesting content about the closed apples, and I look forward to the open beta, which appears to be coming out this summer, so that'll be quite awesome to actually get to play the game. But for the moment, I'm just waiting on more Battlefield 4 DLCs being re-released for free. Second Assault and Naval Strike are the ones I really would love to play because they do look really fun. But anyway, this has been the Gardener Game Attack, and I'll see you on another video.